So our first speaker in this session is Samuel Marwood, who is the co-founder and managing director of Cultivate Farms. Sam resigned from his stable 12-year-long Victorian government job in environmental policy in 2015 to start two environment-focused social enterprises, Cultivate Farms and EduPledge, which are now building momentum to make significant change for agriculture in regional Australia and for wildlife on the brink of extinction. Cultivate Farms, which Sam's going to be talking about today, matches young farming families with investors to own and operate a farm together. And I've seen it referred to on Sam's website and other places as the Tinder for new farmers to try and get into ag. Sam grew up on a dairy farm and understands the frustration of so many young people who want to farm but can't afford to own a multi-million-dollar farm. So please welcome Sam to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to AFI for holding this conference. I think it's a great thing, and it's a real honour to be invited to come up here and talk. So I'm going to be talking about digital agriculture and how it relates to getting farm capital or farm finance. But what I want to talk about really is, and putting this presentation together, I thought about how do I present something that's a little bit different that you guys might not have heard before, but also really practical. I'm hoping that anyone can use some of these ideas we've put up today, whether you're in government, you own a farm, you want to own a farm, or you're in business. So that's sort of the angle I'm pushing for. But also thinking about this, I realised that what do I mean by digital agriculture? And really, from my point of view, and starting Cultivate Farms, it's really about social media. And I'm really excited with the power that social media has to generate attention, which allows you to get the things that you want out of your business. And in this case, to get farm capital, whether that's for aspiring farmers or for farmers right now. So I'm really excited about the future of farming in Australia, and I think it is all centred around social media, and I think we've all got to realise that that is where attention's at. A lot of you guys are on your phones right now and probably looking at social media. That is where content that you're interested in is consumed, and if you're a content creator, you can get the attention of people you need to make the difference that you want in your life. So the take-home message for what I'll talk about is that social media leads to farm capital. And a bit of a logic here is that social media equals attention, i.e. That is where most people are spending their time. When you're at home, when you're on the bus, wherever you are, you're on your phone and most likely on Twitter or Facebook or some sort of social media. That attention, that if you're creating content, leads to the ability to attract capital or to do whatever it is that you want to do with your business or with your life. So what the presentation today, I'm going to talk about what we do as Cultivate Farms to attract attention, which might be useful for anyone else in a business that wants to think about how to use it for their own business. And then specifically for an aspiring farmer, which is our target market of people who want to be farmers. And we're saying, don't just sit around hoping that a farm pops into your lap. Take control of your future and use social media to create that future that you want. So Cultivate Farms, it is a matchmaking service, pretty much. So we have aspiring farmers, and we match them with retiring farmers and investors to own and operate a farm together. And we don't care how the farms are established or what legal entity or how, whether it's equity, whether it's a lease to buy, whether it's vendor finance. We don't mind. Our whole aim is to make sure that a young farming family or an aspiring farmer has some ownership in that farm, that they run it, and they can build that equity over time. We've found that the biggest barrier to entry for young people and for aspiring farmers is money. Unless you're a millionaire or you inherit the farm, it's nearly impossible to become a farmer. And we are really hopeful that if we can eliminate that barrier by connecting them with people who have the land or the money, we could revolutionise the farming industry by opening this up to anybody in Australia or in the world who has a dream to be a farmer. We're saying now you can, because we're removing that barrier. And to me, that's really, really exciting. And I guess it's reflected in why we're doing this in the first place, in that we want to rejuvenate regional communities. We do know that, and talking to aspiring farmers every day, every one of them talks about exactly the same story. I want to be a farmer, I don't have the money, help. And if we can remove that barrier, we can start getting people back to my hometown of Dingy in central Victoria, and this is the town hall. I think about, well, what if we sat down with the community and talked about all the different ways that you can attract young people, tell them that the barriers aren't there anymore, and you can start getting people back into this town, and they can take some time and some pride and get this town hall upgraded and get the community really thriving. So that's what's driving us, is how do we get these small towns that we grew up in, that I grew up in, the co-founders grew up in, get them really thriving again, and we think this access to capital is a key thing. So the lessons, and this is what is going to frame the whole of the discussion, is around, over these last couple of years of setting up Cultivate Farms, I've learnt that attention equals opportunity, and that social media is the best way and the cheapest, it's free, and the most accessible to everybody in Australia, the best way to get attention that you need. And so I'm going to talk about the way we get attention to find farm opportunities for aspiring farmers through investors and retiring farmers and the agriculture industry in general. And then also, how do you get the aspiring farmers to generate their own attention? So don't just sit around waiting for us to find them a farm or hoping someone else gives you a farm. Get out there and take control of your farming future. So the types of capital I want to talk about and how to use social media to attract them are human capital, farm capital, the capital to operate your farm, and then also a bit of an outline of some ideas on where the future of farm capital is going. So human capital. We want to attract the best people into farming in Australia. We don't want it just to be for anyone who grew up on a farm, becomes a farmer. We want to open this up to everyone, because we know the number one factor behind profitable farms is having great people. You can have the best tractor, you can have great soil, you can have the best technology, but if you don't have the best people, you're not going to be as profitable as you can be. So that's our whole driver, is we want to be able to attract the best people in Australia. So how are we getting to those best people? And that is through social media. So we're telling lots of stories, and we're getting our aspiring farmers to tell stories as well. Our stories are framed around hope that you can be a farmer, around the need to get farm ready, and identifying ways to match people onto farms. So this hope, we're telling people you can be a farmer. You don't have to be a school teacher or go work in the law firm anymore. You can actually live your passion and live your dream. It is a reality, and get people to shift their mindset to that thing that they really would have done if it was possible. I would have been a farmer, but my parents didn't give me the farm. Then it's farm ready, saying now you've got the hope, how do you make sure that you've got the skills you need to be a farmer? Have you been to TAFE? Have you been to university? Are you doing online courses? Why aren't you working for 5 years for a corporate farm to get your skills up? Giving them, now they've got the hope, they're going to be able to work, they would want to do this work, this training to get themselves farm ready. And then when they're farm ready, we're finding matches for them to get onto farms, whether that's through retired farmers or it's through farms that are on the market, or just matching them up with investors to go find farms together. So we're using stories to get people's attention to attract the best people. And those best people that we're attracting, or anyone who wants to be a farmer, we get them to start documenting their journey. We're saying, get in your head that you're going to be a farmer, and now let's map out your pathway to becoming a farmer. And the best way for you to open up opportunities is to tell your story online, to document your journey, which is really powerful. I think this is the way most startups nowadays are heading, is that they don't know everything in ag data if they're an ag data company, but they're building their way through. And so telling their story on what they're learning and what they're failing at, what they're finding, is really interesting, and that's why you build an audience. And that's what we're saying to aspiring farmers as well. You mightn't have your farm yet, and you mightn't know everything about farming, but start documenting and telling people that you want to be a farmer, and these are the things you're learning, and you'll build an audience. It is really interesting stuff. So that's one of the things we really encourage all our aspiring farmers is get on Twitter, get on Facebook, and start documenting your story. And maybe just quickly around what do I mean by social media, just to clarify all these and around the stories. It's about creating content and just sharing it online. It's pretty straightforward, but it's got to be content that's useful, practical, or inspiring or helpful. And it's through things like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, a blog, Snapchat, what else is it? Musical.ly. No one's on Musical.ly. It's through these social media accounts that you can create content that people want to use. And we're talking about videos, photos, written, audio. They're the basic concepts of creating social media. So now we've got farmers that are ready to go, and they're pumped up, ready to be a farmer. How do we get them onto the farm and get that capital? So for us, It's about getting the right people together so that they can have a conversation. The more people we have, the better the matches are going to be. Why would people jump on a matchmaking service? Well, I think years ago people thought it was weird when people jumped onto matchmaking services to find their lifelong partner. And people are probably thinking it's weird now to jump online and find your farming partner. But things are changing. There was probably people, I know 10 years ago I said I'd never be on Facebook, and there's probably lots of people here who said the same thing, but now you're probably looking at Facebook right now. So things change, and that's what we're saying is that like you would jump on eHarmony to go find your lifelong partner because it saves you time. They're sitting there. We're saying jump on eFarmony, another little pun. Jump on eFarmony and find your perfect farm match. Save time. Don't wait 32 years, which is what we calculated it takes to save up enough money to get a loan to buy an average farm. Save time, find the right people, and get farming. And then from an aspiring farmer's point of view, we say document your journey and then use that to go and headhunt retiring farmers and pitch. Treat this like you're an entrepreneur. Go out there and talk to 100 retiring farmers in your district that you want to take over their farm. Only one of them will say that they're interested, and then use that to present a farm investment opportunity. Map it out. Say exactly why you're the best farmer, what you're going to do on the farm, and the expected returns. And then using your influence and your networks, even your family, your friends, people in the community might back you and invest in you. Farms might pop up for you because you're creating this attention, and we'll definitely help support you find investors as well. But unless you're out there fighting for your future and being proactive and using this powerful tool right in your hands, you're just going to be at the whim of others and probably never get on that dream farm of yours. Then farm operation capital. So the focus of Cultivate Farms is about farm matchmaking, not so much about supporting the ongoing management of the farms, but we've realised again that we're building this attention that is going to help every one of those farms that we set up. And attention in this case for the farmers equals customers. So we'll be promoting all the stories of every single farm that we set up and using that again to attract more farmers, but to make every one of our farms that we set up even more profitable. And also it means that it attracts sweet deals in that people want, in the ag industry and any industry, want to be associated with people who have attention and are creating a buzz. And if we can create that buzz to get great opportunities that we hand over to the aspiring farmers, they're going to be even more profitable. So that's why we're excited with the social media angle for the farm operations. And then from an aspiring farmer's point of view, you've gone through this journey of started with nothing, I've documented my journey, I've finally got my farm, you've got a tribe of loyal supporters who would do anything for you, and now you can sell stuff to them, you can sell your produce, you can do crowdfunding, you can see, you've probably heard of lots of crowdfunding campaigns out there to upgrade infrastructure. Because you've got this loyal customer base, you can almost guarantee that you're going to have a profitable business to run, which we think, again, is really exciting in the power of social media. And the future of farm capital. So we think the future is for those who have the attention, and lots of things are happening, but if you've got the attention, you can adapt really quickly to these new techniques and software that is being developed around, especially around crowdfunding. But for us, we are really, really hopeful for the future of farmers in Australia. And we are hopeful and confident that if we keep telling these stories of how good it is to be a farmer, and it's possible, and there are pathways, and there's a great life, we're going to get some of the best people in Australia changing careers or coming through school and wanting to be a farmer from day dot. That's exciting. And then in terms of farm capital, we want to set up the farm version of Shark Tank. We probably won't get a TV show, but we'll do it online. So we want to get aspiring farmers pitching 10 or 20 farms a year, constantly spending between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. or midnight after their day jobs, constantly pitching and thinking about how am I going to get on my farm. I'm going to be out there hustling, and we're going to start pitching these to investors. There are investors out there who want great farm opportunities, and if we've got all these people, hundreds of people across Australia pitching, it's going to be very powerful. I love the idea of community groups and communities taking power and taking control of their future, and they can set up funds. I can see the future that communities would set up their own fund, which is about transitioning land for their farmers, where it's a great opportunity for retiring farmers to step back, still own some equity in the farm, but support a new generation of farmer into their community and fight for the best people. And in that way, they'll be developing their own version of Farm Shark Tank, where young people will be fighting to come to that community, where people will be fighting to go to Dingy, whereas at the moment they're not even interested. I think that is really powerful. I love the idea of a 10-year succession plan where retiring farmers know that there are young people who want to take over the farm, and they're spending a couple of years vetting the farmers and figuring out who actually are the best people, and then saying, yep, you're the one. In 3 or 4 years, you're going to be on. And make sure they've got the finances and maybe some investors lined up as well. But instead of just waiting till the day that you nearly get killed in the cattle yards and you think next day I'm selling, it's you have this longer term planning process that's really positive, not only for you but your community and the next generation of farmers. City farmers, city people will own farms. Equity crowdfunding is really exciting. The idea that 200 people could own a farm in anywhere is really exciting for us, and that's where we're going to head as well. But city people will own farms. Farms will be sold on Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram. Again, that is where the attention is, therefore that's where things are going to get sold. And then lastly, other things that we're excited about is spreading risk geographically. So a farmer can operate like a corporate farm, where they can have cattle on their farm in Victoria, but also have cattle in Queensland or in New South Wales and in cross or uncorrelated weather systems. You'll be able to make money from your farmer and farm information. Consumers will know you because there's information you have and you're sharing and your story you're telling. And this other idea, which I think is really exciting, is the ability to free up cash. So you'll be able to sell your cattle to the crowd and then lease them back, so that frees up cash for you to go upgrade your dairy or do whatever it is you need to get that cash. So that's it. I probably spoke too fast, but I am very, very excited about this opportunity that is available to anybody, for any business, and especially for farmers, that social media leads to attention, and attention leads to opportunities. If you are inspired by this, there was one person I would recommend that you follow or buy this book called Crush It, is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's an entrepreneur in America, but I think he has got it. It's that social media is very powerful. If you can create content and useful content, the future is in your hands. Thank you.